At 70, Reba McEntire finally decided to speak openly, not just about her long and celebrated career, but also about the people who shaped her journey, including Kelly Clarkson. For decades, fans have admired her for her fiery red hair, her unmistakable voice, and her unshakable spirit. But behind the spotlight was a woman who faced triumphs and heartbreaks with grace. Reba has always been known for her honesty, her down-to-earth charm, and her ability to connect with audiences like no other. And now, as she reflects on her incredible life and career, she shares truths she once held close to her heart. This is not just the story of a country music legend. It's the story of a young girl from Oklahoma who sang her way to the top, overcame unimaginable challenges, and found strength in the face of change. Reba McEntire was born Reba Nell McEntire on March 28, 1955, in the small town of McAlester, Oklahoma. She was raised in a family that lived and breathed the traditions of the American West. Her father, Clark McEntire, was a celebrated champion steer roper, a man who spent much of his life in rodeo arenas, roping cattle with precision and skill. Her mother, Jacqueline, was a devoted schoolteacher who believed deeply in the power of education and music. From an early age, Reba and her siblings were surrounded by the sounds of country life, the hum of trucks, the clatter of hooves, and the soft twang of country music. Music wasn't just entertainment in their household. It was a way of expressing who they were. Reba, along with her brother Paque and sister Susie, often sang together in harmony during long car rides. Their voices blended effortlessly, foreshadowing a future none of them could have predicted. Growing up in rural Oklahoma, Reba learned the values of hard work, humility, and resilience. Her childhood was marked by long days on the ranch, early mornings, and a close-knit family that taught her to stay grounded no matter what. She admired her father's strength and her mother's gentle encouragement. It was her mother who first recognized her natural gift for singing. Jacqueline nurtured Reba's passion, encouraging her to sing at local events and school programs. Reba didn't yet dream of stardom, but those early performances planted a seed. She loved the way music made people feel, the way it brought smiles to faces and created a sense of connection. Little did she know, those humble moments would lead her to one of the most extraordinary careers in country music history. Reba's journey to fame began with a single performance that changed her life. In 1974, she sang the national anthem at the National Finals Rodeo in Oklahoma City. She thought it was just another opportunity to sing in front of a crowd. But among the people listening that day was country music star Red Steagall. He was captivated by her pure, powerful voice and the authenticity in her delivery. Impressed, Red approached Reba and encouraged her to come to Nashville, the heart of country music. It was a bold step for a young woman from rural Oklahoma. But Reba was determined. She packed her bags and followed her dreams. Soon after, she signed a recording contract with Mercury Records. Her early years in Nashville were not easy. Her first singles didn't make much of an impact on the charts. But Reba never gave up. She balanced her music career with her studies at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, where she was pursuing a degree in elementary education. Even as she walked across campus, she carried a fire inside, a belief that her voice had something special to offer the world. Through persistence, late nights, and endless rehearsals, Reba slowly began to make a name for herself. She didn't rise to fame overnight, but she built her foundation brick by brick, performance by performance, song by song. Nashville is a city of dreamers, and Reba was one of the few who had the strength to stay the course. Her down-to-earth charm and dedication set her apart, and she was only getting started. By the early 1980s, Reba McEntire was no longer just a young singer with a dream. She was becoming one of the most recognizable voices in country music. Her breakthrough came with songs that spoke straight to the heart. How Blue and Somebody Should Leave weren't just hits. They were emotional stories set to music. With her crystal-clear voice and her ability to make every lyric feel personal, Reba stood out in a time when country music was beginning to lean toward pop crossover. She wasn't just singing songs, she was telling stories. Fans connected with her because she sang about real-life emotions, love, heartbreak, resilience, and hope. Her stage presence was magnetic. She performed with warmth, charm, and an honesty that felt rare. People didn't just hear her songs, they felt them. As the 1980s progressed, Reba's fame grew rapidly. She began topping the charts, selling out concerts, and winning major awards. Songs like Whoever's in New England and The Last One to Know became anthems for fans across the country. She became a symbol of authenticity in a changing music landscape. Her image, with her signature red hair and confident stage presence, became iconic. But it wasn't just her voice or her look that made her special. It was the way she made audiences feel understood. When Reba sang, people saw themselves in her music. The 1990s solidified her superstar status. She won multiple Grammy Awards, Country Music Association Awards, and Academy of Country Music Awards. Her hit songs like Fancy, Is There Life Out There, and The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia showcased her range as both a vocalist and a storyteller. Reba wasn't afraid to take creative risks. She incorporated dramatic storytelling into her performances, using lighting, costumes, and emotion to elevate her shows. She brought a sense of theater to country music, something that made her concerts unforgettable. Beyond her music, Reba also stepped into acting. She appeared in the cult classic film Tremors, and later starred in her own sitcom Reba, which ran for 6 successful seasons. The show introduced her to a whole new audience, proving she was more than just a singer. She was a true entertainer. With every passing year, her legacy grew. She became one of the best-selling female country artists of all time. But even at the height of fame, Reba remained grounded, a girl from Oklahoma with a love for music and a heart full of stories to tell. Behind Reba McEntire's dazzling career was a personal life marked by both love and heartbreak. Her journey off stage was as eventful and emotional as her time in the spotlight. Reba's first marriage was to Charlie Battles in 1976. Charlie was a champion steer wrestler and rancher, well known in the rodeo world. When they married, Reba was still at the beginning of her career. She embraced the life of a ranch wife, helping with chores, living close to nature, and balancing her growing music career with the demands of married life. But as her fame grew, their marriage began to face strain. Charlie wanted a more traditional, home-centered life, while Reba's star was rising fast. She was traveling more, performing more, and stepping into a bigger world. Their goals began to drift apart. After more than a decade together, the marriage came to an end in 1987. Reba has spoken candidly about how difficult that time was for her. It was painful to walk away, but it was also a turning point. It allowed her to fully dedicate herself to her music and future. 2 years later, in 1989, Reba married Narvel Blackstock. Narvel had been a steel guitar player in her band and later became her manager. Their relationship blossomed into both a personal and professional partnership. Together, they built Starstruck Entertainment, which became a powerful force in the country music industry. Through Narvel, Reba became a stepmother to his 3 children from a previous marriage, and in 1990, the couple welcomed their son, Shelby Blackstock. This was a joyful chapter in Reba's life. She often spoke about how much she loved being a mother and how family grounded her. But Reba's personal life was also marked by tragedy. In 1991, she experienced one of the darkest moments of her life when a plane crash took the lives of several members of her touring band. It was an unimaginable loss, one that changed her forever. But even in grief, she found the strength to move forward, honoring their memory through her music. For more than 2 decades, Reba and Narvel seemed inseparable. Their marriage was both a love story and a business partnership. But in 2015, after 26 years of marriage, they announced their divorce. Fans were shocked. Reba herself admitted publicly that the decision was not hers, and that it was one of the most painful experiences of her life. Despite the heartbreak, she remained strong, just as she had through every other storm. She continued performing, recording, and staying close to her family. Reba has often said that faith, music, and her loved ones gave her the strength to keep going, even when her personal life felt like it was falling apart. Reba McEntire's life is a powerful story of resilience. The 1991 plane crash was one of the hardest things she ever faced. Losing members of her band, people who had become like family, left a wound that never fully healed. But instead of giving in to grief, Reba chose to honor their memory by doing what she loved most: singing. Her music became both her outlet and her tribute. Her 2015 divorce from Narvel Blackstock was another major blow. After more than 2 decades together, she found herself starting over, something she never expected at that stage in life. She admitted the separation wasn't her choice, and the pain was real. But Reba didn't let it break her. She leaned on her friends, her faith, and her fans. She turned heartbreak into strength, just like she always had. She returned to the stage, released new music, and embraced a new chapter of independence. Reba's ability to rise after every setback became one of the most defining aspects of her legacy. Even after decades in the spotlight, Reba McEntire remains one of the most beloved figures in country music. Her influence spans generations. Young artists look up to her as a trailblazer, a woman who built a lasting legacy without ever losing sight of who she is. In the 1990s and 2000s, her albums continued to top the charts, and her concerts sold out around the world. She proved her versatility not only as a singer, but also as an actress and businesswoman. Her sitcom, Reba, became a household favorite, and her music kept winning awards and hearts alike. Today, she stands as a symbol of strength, authenticity, and grace. Her bond with Kelly Clarkson, her former daughter-in-law, also showed fans the depth of her character. Even after her divorce from Narvel, Reba and Kelly maintained a warm relationship built on mutual respect and love for music. Reba's story isn't just about fame, it's about perseverance, family, and a love for music that never faded. At 70, Reba McEntire looks back on her journey not with regret, but with gratitude. She's proud of the little girl from Oklahoma who dared to dream big. She's proud of the woman who survived loss, heartbreak, and change, and came out stronger every time. Her voice has carried across decades, touching millions. Her legacy is not just in the songs she sang, but in the strength she showed. And as she finally opens up about the truth, about Kelly Clarkson, about her past, about her heart, she reminds us why she's a legend. रीबा मैकेंटायर का कनेक्शन केली क्लार्कसन के साथ सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री का एक कैजुअल रिश्ता नहीं था, ये सच में फैमिली तक पहुंच गया। केली ने रेबा के फॉर्मर स्टेपसन ब्रैंडन ब्लैकस्टॉक से शादी की, जिसके बाद वो सिर्फ एक प्रोटेजे नहीं रही बल्कि फैमिली का हिस्सा बन गई। दोनों का पहला प्रोफेशनल कोलैबोरेशन बिकॉज ऑफ यू ने म्यूजिक चार्ट्स में कमाल दिखाया। फैंस ने उनकी केमिस्ट्री को इंस्टेंटली पसंद किया। रेबा ने केली को अपनी छोटी बहन जैसे देखा। वो हमेशा केली की टैलेंट, आवाज और एनर्जी की तारीफ करती थी। केली के लिए रेबा एक मेंटोर और सपोर्ट सिस्टम थी, इंडस्ट्री में नेविगेट करने के लिए एक रोल मॉडल। जब केली का मैरिज ब्रैंडन से खत्म हुआ, तब रेबा का स्टैंस बहुत रिस्पेक्टफुल और डिग्निफाइड रहा। उसने केली के साथ अपना पर्सनल बॉन्ड बनाए रखा और दिखाया कि रिश्ता सिर्फ एक लीगल बॉन्ड पर डिपेंड नहीं करता है। यही वजह है कि जब रेबा ने 70 साल की उम्र में केली के बारे में खुलासे किए, तो सबका ध्यान उसकी तरफ गया। रेबा का म्यूजिक सिर्फ एक फैन बेस नहीं बना, उसने पूरी एक जनरेशन को इंस्पायर किया। उसने कंट्री म्यूजिक को सिर्फ एक ट्रेडिशनल जॉनर के तौर पर नहीं रखा, बल्कि उसे मॉडर्न टच दिया। उसकी आवाज में जोरो इमोशंस थे, उसने लिसनर्स को डीपली टच किया। रेबा का स्टोरी टेलिंग स्टाइल कंट्री जॉनर का सिग्नेचर बन गया। 1980s और 1990s में उसने फीमेल कंट्री सिंगर्स के लिए दरवाजे खोले, जहां इंडस्ट्री पहली ज्यादा मेल डोमिनेटेड थी। आज के बहुत से यंग आर्टिस्ट्स जैसे कैरी अंडरवुड और केल्सी बैलरिनी रेबा को अपना इंस्पिरेशन मानते हैं। उसकी स्टेज परफॉर्मेंस, लाइव वोकल्स और इमोशनल डिलीवरी इंडस्ट्री में एक स्टैंडर्ड बन गई। उसका इन्फ्लुएंस अवार्ड से कहीं ज्यादा गहरा है। वो एक मूवमेंट थी जो विमेन को आगे लाई। रेबा ने म्यूजिक को सिर्फ परफॉर्म नहीं किया, उसने उसे जिया, और इसी वजह से उसका नाम आज भी कंट्री म्यूजिक के गोल्डन पिलर्स में लिखा जाता है। रेबा ने अपनी पहचान सिर्फ सिंगर के तौर पर नहीं बनाई, उसका नेचुरल चार्म और कॉमिक टाइमिंग ने यूज टीवी और फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में भी एक सॉलिड पोजीशन दी। उसने हॉरर कॉमेडी फिल्म ट्रेमर्स में काम किया जो कमर्शियल सक्सेस रही, मगर सबसे ज्यादा लोगों के दिल में वो अपनी टीवी सिटकॉम रेबा की वजह से बस गई। 2001 से 2007 तक चली ये सिटकॉम एक ऐसी सिंगल मॉम की कहानी थी जो फैमिली स्ट्रगल्स के बावजूद मजबूत खड़ी रहती है, बिल्कुल रेबा के रियल लाइफ पर्सोना की तरह। मिलियंस ने इस शो को फॉलो किया और रेबा हर घर का फेमिलियर चेहरा बन गई। उसने एक्टिंग में भी वही सिंसेरिटी दिखाई जो वो म्यूजिक में करती थी। बाद में उसने ब्रॉडवे पर भी काम किया, म्यूजिकल्स में परफॉर्म किया और गेस्ट अपीयरेंसेस करती रही। ये सब रेबा के मल्टी टैलेंटेड आर्टिस्ट होने का सबूत है। उसने एक ही फील्ड में नहीं रुकना, बल्कि हर प्लेटफॉर्म पर अपनी आवाज और प्रेजेंस को फील करवाया। रेबा का अवार्ड शेल्फ लिटरली लेजेंडरी है। उसने मल्टीपल ग्रैमी अवार्ड्स, कंट्री म्यूजिक एसोसिएशन अवार्ड्स (CMA) और अकेडमी ऑफ कंट्री म्यूजिक अवार्ड्स (ACM) जीते। वह CMA फीमेल वोकलिस्ट ऑफ द ईयर का अवार्ड बार बार जीत चुकी है, जो उसके अनपैरेलेल्ड वोकल्स और स्टेज कैरिस्मा का सबूत है। 1990s में उसने अपने म्यूजिक के लिए मल्टी प्लैटिनम रिकॉर्ड्स हासिल किए और चार्ट टॉपिंग एल्बम्स रिलीज किए। 2018 में उसे कैनेडी सेंटर ऑनर्स मिला, जो अमेरिका के सबसे प्रेस्टिजियस आर्टिस्टिक अवार्ड्स में से एक है। ये सब सिर्फ ट्रॉफीज नहीं थे, ये उसकी मेहनत, कंसिस्टेंसी और टैलेंट का रिफ्लेक्शन थे। आज भी उसे क्वीन ऑफ कंट्री के टाइटल से याद किया जाता है। हर अवार्ड सेरेमोनी में उसका नाम रिस्पेक्ट के साथ लिया जाता है, चाहे वो नए आर्टिस्ट्स का ईरा हो या पुराना। रेबा ने सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री में ही नहीं, बल्कि ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एफर्ट्स में भी अपना रोल अदा किया। वो मल्टीपल चैरिटी कैंपेन्स का हिस्सा रही, खास तौर पर एजुकेशन, डिजास्टर रिलीफ और हेल्थ केयर कॉजेज में। उसने अपना फैशन ब्रांड रेबा लॉन्च किया, जो रिटेल स्टोर्स में पॉपुलर हुआ। इस ब्रांड ने उनकी बिजनेस सैवी पर्सनैलिटी को सामने लाया। रेबा ने अपनी सेलिब्रिटी स्टेटस को रिस्पॉन्सिबली इस्तेमाल किया, फंड रेजिंग कॉन्सर्ट्स, डिजास्टर विक्टिम्स के लिए सपोर्ट और विमेन एम्पावरमेंट इनिशिएटिव्स में एक्टिवली काम किया। वो हमेशा कहती हैं कि फेम सिर्फ तब मीनिंगफुल है जब आप यूज पॉजिटिव चेंज के लिए इस्तेमाल करें। रेबा की लाइफ ट्रेजेडीज के बावजूद पॉजिटिविटी का एक मिसाल रही है। उसने कभी अपनी फेथ और अपने रूट्स को नहीं छोड़ा। वो अपनी ओक्लाहोमा अपब्रिंगिंग को अपनी स्ट्रेंथ का सोर्स समझती है। इंटरव्यूज में वो कहती है कि गॉड्स प्लान इज बिगर देन माइन, जो उसकी रेजिलियंस को समझने में मदद करता है। जब उसे पर्सनल हार्ट ब्रेक्स, प्लेन क्रैश ट्रेजेडी और प्रोफेशनल चैलेंजेस का सामना करना पड़ा, तब उसने अपने फेथ और अपनी फैमिली में स्ट्रेंथ ढूंढी। उसका फिलॉसफी सिंपल है, वर्क हार्ड, स्टे हम्बल एंड ट्रस्ट द जर्नी। रेबा का नाम सिर्फ एक सिंगर या एक्ट्रेस के तौर पर नहीं, बल्कि एक कल्चरल आइकॉन के तौर पर याद रखा जाता है। उसने 5 डेकेड से ज्यादा का करियर बनाया, हर एरा में अपनी रेलेवेंस को बनाए रखा। वो हर नए जनरेशन को इंस्पायर करती है, चाहे वो यंग कंट्री सिंगर्स हों या फैंस जो उसकी ऑनेस्टी और स्ट्रेंथ को एडमायर करते हैं। आज जब वो 70 की उम्र में अपनी जर्नी पर नजर डालती है, तो वो सिर्फ माइलस्टोन्स नहीं देखती, वो उन लम्हों को याद करती है जहां उसने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ दिखाई। कैली क्लार्कसन के बारे में उसके खुलासे सिर्फ गॉसिप नहीं थे, वो उसकी रियलनेस का हिस्सा थे। उसका लेगेसी टाइमलेस है, एक ऐसी औरत का जो सिर्फ स्टार नहीं बल्कि सर्वाइवर भी है। और कंट्री म्यूजिक में उसका नाम हमेशा गोल्ड लेटर्स में लिखा जाएगा। आखिर में रेबा का सफर एक कहानी है, उम्मीद, दाढ़ और जीत की कहानी। उसने दुनिया को दिखाया कि एक औरत किस तरह इंडस्ट्री में अपनी जगह बना सकती है, अपनी डिग्निटी को बरकरार रख सकती है और हर सेटबैक के बाद खुद को और मजबूत बना सकती है। कैली क्लार्कसन के साथ उसका कनेक्शन सिर्फ हेडलाइंस तक महदूद नहीं, वो उसकी इमोशनल जर्नी का एक हिस्सा था। आज भी फैंस उसकी हर बात में वही सच्चाई महसूस करते हैं जो उसने अपने म्यूजिक में डाली थी। 70 साल की उम्र में भी वो सबको इंस्पायर करती है कि असली ताकत अंदर होती है,